You. Good. Well, thank you for being here and for leaning in and for having courage to listen today. Because I'm going to be talking about something that's raw and that's uncomfortable, but it's profound and necessary for collective healing and for the future of our communities, our families, and our children. I've got 8 things today, just 8, and I promise you I'll be really quick, that I want to talk about. And I want to get this out of my head and get out of your way. But I promise these 8 things will stay with you. The truths we've swept under the rug far too long, wrapped in silence, fear, and outdated traditions. It's time to unwrap these things. Okay, number 1 is the scars of childhood, a universal recovery. Many of us were abused as children, and we are all recovering from our childhoods. Let that sink in. Not some of you, many of you. This isn't about pointing fingers at individuals as much as it is about acknowledging a generational pattern. So many of us are walking around functioning adults, but beneath the surface, we are still tending to wounds inflicted in our formative years. Whether it's physical, emotional, verbal, or neglect, the impact is real and pervasive. It shapes our relationships, our self-worth, our abilities to trust other people. The impact is real. And it also impedes our trust and our capacity for joy. We carry these burdens daily. And until we, as a collective, acknowledge this truth, that widespread impact of childhood trauma within our own homes and our communities, we cannot truly heal. We cannot move forward. This recovery is a lifelong journey for many, and it starts with the honesty that it happened and that it matters. See, we're so afraid of letting that out, letting people know, that this happened to us, or even expressing how we feel. And I think that's a disservice to us as people, as communities. Second thing is letting go of white Jesus. White Jesus, let it go. I'm reminded of a skit that's in, I think it's one of Ice Cube's movies, Next Sunday, and how one of the actors went in and said, "Who's staring at you? White Jesus?" And he got all nervous. Now I know this one might stir some discomfort. For generations, for centuries, the image of the white European Jesus has been presented as the epitome of divinity. The epitome. But this image and the theology built around it has been useful to justify conquest, oppression, and subjugation of Black and brown bodies. When I went to Italy, I went to the Vatican, and in that Vatican was the real authentic pictures of Jesus. Brown as can be, woolly hair, the truth hidden down in the basements of the Vatican. That lets you know something. It's a colonial construction that strips us of our own spirituality. Hi, Sandeep. Sovereignty and connection of the divine in a way that truly reflects us. It disconnects us from our own heritage, our own understanding of faith, our own understanding of power. Letting go of this imposed image is not abandoning faith. It's about liberating it. It's about reclaiming spiritual matters, that spiritual narrative that we need, that's authentic, inclusive. So when we serve a white Jesus, we're serving a lie. We don't have faith. We don't have understanding. We're serving a lie. We need to be inclusive and empowering for all God's children, everybody, in all forms. It's about seeing the divine in ourselves. 3, protecting predators. The silence in our family. The pedophiles that exist within our own families that you all don't want us to talk about because you don't want the family to look bad, stop protecting them. Stop making them look like they were the best thing ever on surface, but they were abusing children. They were abusing your child. They've abused your child. They've hurt them in a way. Stop protecting them. No, they were not good. They were not good people. Their actions preach something else. Perhaps that's the hardest truth that we all are going to hear. And we all are going to speak. And it's the most devastating. But stop acting like you live in the Brady Bunch world. If your pedophile stepfather, brother, cousin, whoever it is, uncle, they abuse children, stop making it seem like they were great. Because all you do is perpetuate the lie of the generational curse. That's all you do. They exist. Predators exist. So it's been far too often that victims are silenced, dismissed, and actively shamed into secrecy. I was one of them. Not by outsiders, by internal. And you know that little lie that they tell you, that they tell you everything that happens in this house stays in this house? Is a facade. We want to avoid the drama, but we shouldn't. But what about the victims? Do you keep perpetuating the lie to their grandkids, to their great grandkids, all the way around? Do you? What about their innocence lost? What about their trust shattered? Whose lives are forever changed and altered? Protecting the abuser, consciously or subconsciously, is an act of violence. I want you to know that. Violence against the victim. It perpetuates the cycle of trauma on all of us. And it tells our children that their safety and well-being are less important than the facade and how the family looks. It's time to dismantle that protection of them. It's time to believe children. It's time to prioritize healing over false sense of family honor. Get rid of it. So I have a question I'm going to stop for. I got a question. If Jesus is God, why does he pray? Why does he pray to God? Well, Jesus is not God. So he's just like Confucius and everyone else that brought a message. What we did is we were taught to idolize him. And what does the Bible say about idolatry? They know and they don't understand. So thank you, email box, for asking that question, because it's a great one. Number 4, ditch struggling love. Our girls deserve more. Our boys deserve more. Okay? Stop teaching our young girls and our young boys the idea of struggle. Relationships are struggles. Stop lying. They're not struggles. They're struggles only when you get the wrong person, only when you're yoked with the wrong person. They have to accept the bare minimum of in relationships. Stop lying to them that they have to go to jail with people. Stop hanging in there with them, that they got to forgive them when they cheat on them. Stop lying. No. For far too long, our girls and even some boys have been fed a narrative that love requires struggle. It does not. That means enduring hardship, disrespect, and emotional neglect. Does not. To prove their worth or that they're virtuous and earn affection. Does not. This isn't love. It's a trap. Hello, heaven. It's a trap. It teaches them to settle for less, to chase potential rather than value present respect. And believe it or not, it creates an enduring pain, like a sign of strength that they should be committed to this and loyal, committed to this pain. Our girls and some of our boys deserve partnerships built on mutual respect, healthy communication, and emotional support, and unwavering adoration. They deserve partners who elevate them, not deplete them. We must model and teach them that struggle, love is a generational curse that steals their joy and their dignity. Let's empower them to demand and expect true partnership and abundant love. 5, breaking toxic masculinity. Let our boys feel. Telling our boys that suck it up, stop crying, boys don't cry, boys don't show their emotions, only hurts their life. Hurts them because they hold in all their emotions and they don't have a great life, affectionate life with their wives or their partners. They don't. Or with anybody else. Stop teaching our young boys that. It's not okay to cry and or show emotion. That toxic masculinity has been passed down through far too long to many generations. This one affects sons, brothers, fathers, and partners. We taught them to be strong by being stoic, by suppressing vulnerability, by equating emotion with weakness. We tell them boys don't cry or man up. This is toxic masculinity. It's devastating. It creates men who are disconnected, emotionally unavailable from their inner lives, unable to process grief, frustration, or even joy in a healthy way. It leads to isolation, anger, and often disrespectful behavior. Our boys deserve the freedom to feel. They deserve to express their full range of emotions without shame or judgment. We need to teach them the true strength lies in emotional intelligence, in empathy, in vulnerability, and healthy expression. Let's raise men who are whole emotionally, who are emotional literate and capable of deep connection, not men trapped in a rigid, damaging performance of masculinity. Yeah, think about that one, right? 6, challenging homophobia. Love is love. It's none of your business who someone loves. None of your business. Especially when it's not pedophilia. Okay. The homophobia in our community is based largely in part to the older generation and their religious beliefs that have long since been debunked. Let's be clear. Homophobia is a destructive force that alienates, harms, and marginalizes members of our community. And often it is rooted in interpretations of religion and religious texts. I remember talking with, hearing this over the pulpit for many years. The Bible says this, the Bible says that. Well, the Bible doesn't say that. And if you really knew the origin of where the Bible comes from and who wrote it, you beg to differ. But I'll leave that up to you to study. Because those religious texts are rigid, selective, and frankly, need to be re-examined and understood in a far more inclusive way than modern theologists and spiritual leaders. I think that most people do not approach the Bible in love. They approach it in the law, staunch and rigid. And yes, system bolege, I don't know how to say that, but that is correct. People actually misinterpret the Bible. They shouldn't be reading it. That's what I think. They shouldn't be reading it, shouldn't be listening to it if they're not educated. They should not. And when I mean educated, I mean that they study the Bible, the history, the area, everything, all of that. Not just take it out of the Bible. And let me tell you what I learned at the Vatican as well when I was in Italy. The Bible is about, how thick was it? It was about 12 to 16 inches long. Just one part. So, what am I saying to you? When we were colonized, they picked out what they wanted to control us. It worked. Really worked. For some, not for me. Thank God I'm out of it. But anyway, these beliefs, that staunchness, those picked out verses, doesn't create love. And when I found out that the scriptures were creating separatism and creating control, yes, I was like, this is not what the Bible's about. And I thank God every day that I went to Italy, that I, learned about Italy. I'm going to tell you that I do not ascribe to the word Christian because there's no such, and Christianity should not be, because all it does is gives us a way of control. And Christianity is one of the worst religions ever, especially for those who are in the black and brown bodies. So we should, in our communities, especially around LGBTQ+, should be fully loving without reservation. And we should be stronger, richer, and more authentic when it's all members are seen, valued, and safe. 7, stop gaslighting respect. Respect is earned. Stop gaslighting us, the young people in our community, about we are adults and we should be talked to a certain way. Well, if you don't respect me, how are you going to get respect? Respect is earned. If you are a nasty old person, or older person, or a quoter of the so-called honor your parents or honor whatever, you were around quoting that, what are you doing to promote respect? Just because you're older and you think you deserve respect, just because you're old, doesn't always warrant respect. And some of y'all are mad disrespectful. Some of y'all are those pedophiles and want respect. Some of you all are the ones that beat on us and you want respect. This is the truth for our younger generations. because they're speaking loud right now. They're really speaking loud. And it's time for us to hear it. Respect is not automatically granted simply due to age. It's earned through behavior, through integrity, through listening, and through reciprocal treatment. Too often, older generations dismiss, invalidate, and manipulate the feelings and experiences of young people. I can remember when I was in elementary school and had this teacher named Mrs. Giordano. And she would demand respect, but she was the nastiest teacher. And she wanted respect. Now, as I got older, I call it gaslighting. Demanding different treatment, and simultaneously being dismissive, even outright disrespectful, right? This creates a schism of mistrust and prevents genuine intergenerational dialogue. If we want respect, we must be and give respect. If we listen to their perspectives, especially those young people, acknowledge their truths and engage with them as equals. Because that's all we are. I don't care what your freaking title is. Respect is respect around the board. Age grants experience, yes, but it does not grant automatic immunity from accountability or a fight or the right to disrespect others. Doesn't do that. I'm just saying. And the last one is 8, sweeping around your own house. That's what my mom used to say. Make sure you sweep around your own house before you go around sweeping around somebody else's house. After all those uncomfortable truths, we have a long way to go as parents of a broken home. Even if we don't become parents, we have a long way to go to be friends, neighbors, cousins, family members, anything like that. Because we got to get there. And like my mom said, sweep around your own house. Make sure you're good, right? Around your own house. One thing they took from us is don't go to therapy. All that did was create the fact that we had to tear down and build up the hard way instead of going to therapy and digging into those false images, those abusive ways, those generational traumas. Sweep around your own house, and that means go to therapy. Get a coach. It's about acknowledging the deep-seated issues that are holding us back for being our true individual, unique selves. But as families and as communities, we're not seeing about that. We're not cleaning up around our own houses. The abuse, the false images, the protected predators, the toxic relationships, the stifled emotions, the prejudice, the disrespect. Those are the dust, the debris, the generational curses accumulating around and collective in our houses. Sweeping around our own house is doing some internal work. It means challenging our own biases, confronting our pain, healing our own trauma, and it means to be uncomfortable and have those uncomfortable conversations. Holding ourselves and others accountable and choosing courage over comfort. It means being willing to unlearn what no longer serves us and actively, intentionally build meaningful and willing, healthy, loving, and truly freeing generations to come. It's hard work. It requires vulnerability, but it also will break the cycle and ensure a brighter future for our children, our next generations, and for ourselves. See, we don't get streets of gold after we die. We don't get those mansions after we die. We build them right now. This is Miss Edna, and thank you for listening. See you next time around.